Welcome to Foundation Excellence. This is Mr. Moiti speaking to you. We are continuing with our series of the question papers. Uh, Today we are concluding with paper 2 of accounting, question paper of 2023, the exemplar. And then we will be doing the question paper and we'll be concluding it. So we're left with question 3 and question 4. These two questions will be done today under this video. So without further ado, let us continue. Right, ladies and gentlemen, you will see here that you have question 3. This was question 2 that we concluded yesterday, and today we'll be doing question 3. So question 3 is here. There it is, question 3, inventories, problem solving and ethics. So we shall be starting with our question 3. You can see the marker location, you can see the questions, what is expected of us. The questions are repeated this side, 3.1.1 to 3.1.11. All of them, same questions are written here. So we shall go through each and every question as we look at the information given below. So let's go to the question paper. On the question paper here, we have got our information. You can see that 3.1 information is just this trading inventory account. So let us associate our alphabets to the points or the places in the trading stock account, ledger account. Now let us begin. We look at the first question here. It says 3.1.1. What is the contra account for A? So we would ask ourselves, what is the contra account for A? Let's look at A and check. This is a CPJ. CPJ tells us very simple that this must be bank. So we are going to write bank. There's the contra account. It suits one mark. All right. And then we look at the next one here. It says here, where do we record the closing trading stock in the financial statement? Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's asking us, where do we record the closing trading stock? We need to see where the closing trading stock is. And let us have a look at the question paper. So we look at this information here and then we think about this. What does the question really say? The question is really saying financial statement, not on a trading stock. So where do we record the closing trading stock in the financial statement? So in the financial statement, we need to think about it. Is it going to be in the statement of comprehensive income? Is it going to be in the statement of financial position, or is it going to be in the notes? First of all, where do we close it off? Do you hear? Where do we record the closing trading stock? We record the closing trading stock firstly in note number 4, which is inventory. So we record in, let me just erase that, and then so we are going to record in note number 4, inventory note, then transfer the total to transfer the total to the note in the statement of financial position, current account. So that's where we transfer the information. I wrote the answer in the wrong section. This answer was supposed to be written here on 3.1.2. Hold up a minute, let me just fix that. All right, I fixed that. Made this video pause so that I can conclude writing and I would not waste so much time in writing. So here I said that we record in the inventory note and transfer the total to the statement of financial position under current assets. So this is very specific and it gives us that. So where will you get the marks? You will get the marks maybe somewhere here, whereby you indicate the statement of financial position and current assets, because this is the main one. But the top here explains to you where exactly do you take your information from so that you can record it. So the question was asking which financial statements. So by financial statements, I indicated to the notes to the financial statements and the statement of financial position. So ladies and gentlemen, be sure to know your story and answer the right way. Okay, Okay, so I'm going to just remove the strokes that I created. Ooh-wee, and there's another mess. Right, let me just see if I can just remove the strokes, and then I'll fix that now. And voila, it's fixed. So we are going to go to the next item, ladies and gentlemen. It says what transaction gave rise to B. Now let us look at B. If you look at B, ladies and gentlemen, where is B? Because we have A there and G there, F, and then we have got our B here. Now you can see our B. I'm just going to highlight it. There we have our B. You can see our B right there. Okay, highlighter, there we go. You can see our B there. So here it says that what transaction gave rise to B? This would be bought stock on credit. That would be the transaction. So we would say, okay, I'm just going to write that very quickly. All right, so as you can see, I wrote there. Now, bought stock on credit from creditor costing 36,192. That would be the transaction that would give birth to this transaction here, to B. All right, so we are done with that. Now, what is the contra account indicated by C? Ladies and gentlemen, let us look at that. The contra account indicated by C, this is DAJ. It simply means that goods were brought back. So if goods were brought back, so this were brought back by who? Debtors. Do you see? DAJ. So here we have got our debtors control. Debtors control will be affecting our trading stock here, but via the journal debtors allowances journal. Okay, I hope you got that now, ladies and gentlemen. So here we need to write what is the contra account indicated there. We need to write this is debtors control, because we're adding back our stock. So they bought back the stock, there was nothing wrong with it, they decided they don't want to use it anymore, so yeah, so they brought it back because maybe they didn't like it. There's a number of things that people can bring back stock worth, so so that's why you have here. So the contra account here, it is debtors control. And then we shall continue, ladies and gentlemen. We go to the next answer, the next question here, which says give a reason for entry D. Look at entry D there. It says petty cash. Now we found D there, so that's petty cash. So ladies and gentlemen, petty cash usually is cash that we keep in the business. It's not a whole lot of money. Probably some businesses would keep about 10,000 rands, 5,000 rands. That's petty cash, and then that money will be used for things like deliveries on goods and all that. So in this case specifically, when these people deliver our goods, or they say that the goods, they have a delivery fee, this petty cash will help us to pay. All right, so petty cash here will be the amount used for delivery. So this will be delivery on goods. All right, so give the reason for the entry of D. We will simply say delivery on goods. Give me a minute as I write. Okay, so this will be for delivery on goods, stock or merchandise bought. So that's the reason for this entry of petty cash. So let me just elaborate a little bit further. You are going to have your goods that you bought on credit, and then they are delivered to your business. So if they are delivered for your business, you cannot have delivery on credit. You can't have that. So it's either it's free delivery or you pay the delivery. So in this case, the delivery has to be paid. Therefore, the money was taken from petty cash to pay for the delivery. Now, the delivery increases the value of the goods. So that good, it is because of the delivery that you're able to attain that good. So the value of that good will include the delivery as part of its value. All right, thank you. So I will not elaborate further on that. There will be lessons probably towards the coming year 2026 whereby we will be explaining each and every concept in detail, but for now, for exam purposes, we only started the question papers. Thank you very much. Now let us continue with our questions. It says calculate the missing amount of E. Now you see E here and you see the balancing figure. The balancing figure, ladies and gentlemen, on the trading stock, it's always going to be on the right hand side or the debit side. Okay, so it's going to be on the debit side. This is the balancing figure. Therefore, everything when you add it here, everything that you add, oh goodness, okay, I'm not gonna highlight, but everything that you added from this side, everything that you added from up here, everything going down, your 57,780, 700, and all, when you add all of this, they should give you 102,000. Therefore, this is the balancing figure. So right now we are going to calculate backwards. So let us write the calculations. Calculations I'll be able to write with you because it is the writing that is a problem, but the calculating you are supposed to see very well. So in this case, we'll be having our balancing value, which is 102,000. Okay, 102,000. This is a 0. Okay, 102,000. So everything else here is going to be negative, so we're going to minus everything from 102,000. So 102,000 less 2,370 less 36,192 less 7,008, and finally less 54,780. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is your calculations, and then after you do this, you are going to get the answer. Right, let us do this calculation. We're going to have 102,000 minus 2,370 minus 36,192 minus 7,008 minus 54,780. This leaves you, ladies and gentlemen, with a wonderful 1,650. This is the missing figure for E. So we found out how much is the missing figure for E. We are done with that. We go to the next question. The next question is on the next page. So here is the next page. Let's scroll a little bit up. Okay, we dragged our page a little bit up, and then close our calculator for now, and then we continue. It says here, what is the contra account indicated by F? Now let us look at F. F, it says CAJ. So what is the contra account indicated by F? This, ladies and gentlemen, is going to affect our creditors because we are returning goods back to the creditors. So since our creditors, we got goods from them, we are returning them back, so it's going to have a negative effect on our creditors. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be creditors control. F is simply going to be creditors control. All right, creditors control. So that's creditors control, ladies and gentlemen. We are good with that. So let us continue with the next transaction 3.1.8. 3.1.8, it says calculate G. Goods were sold on credit. They were sold on credit for how much? For 27,000. A markup of 25% was added. So they were sold. So if they were sold on credit, that means this is going to affect our debtors control. But how much were they sold for? They were sold for that. So we know that this right here, if it's the selling price, it already has the markup. So in this case, we would be having our markup, and then our markup will be 100. Our selling price will be 125, and then our cost price will be 100. So meaning that we need to calculate what we're given, and then we multiply it by what we need over the total amount or the total percentage of what we have. What we have is what we are given. This 27,000 is what we are given, and we just concluded that this is the selling price, and the selling price includes the markup. So what we're going to have is going to be 127. So remember, I said to you, we calculate given multiplied by need over have. As I explained this before, if this side is in rand or currency value, this side should be in percentages. All right, so this will be in percentages, same vice versa. So if this side is in percentages, this side should be in currency value. So we're done with that. At this moment, we have concluded all the percentages value. We've got 60, we've got 100, we've got 25, we've got 100, we've got 125. So we are very sure of all the percentage values. So what are we given here? We are given 27,000. And then how much do we need? We need 100, which is the cost. Remember that markup is always on cost. So it's going to be 100, and then the selling price, this 27,000, how much in percentage is that? It's 120. So, oh sorry, it's 125. It's 125. So since we have this, we can get our answer. And our answer, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be calculated as such: 27,000 multiplied by 100 divided by 125. And that, ladies and gentlemen, gives us the cost price of 21,000 rand 600. 21,000 rand 600. This is the cost price of G. So we are done with G. We go to the next one, 3.1.9. What is the folio reference for H? Let us look at H. Where is H? Ah, look at that. That is H. So does it say anything about H from here onwards? We can have this as CRJ, we can have this as DJ. So at this moment in time, we need to just double check our information above. So let's see, it says there, what is the folio reference for H? Cost of sales can be 2. So if we will rewrite CRJ and C and DJ, or DJ here, it would not really make much of a difference. But in this regard, ladies and gentlemen, I think we will write CRJ because already we have got a DJ. Okay, in this regard we will write CRJ. But for those of you who are skeptical, even if you write DJ, is still okay. Why do I say CRJ? Remember that for every sales account, for every sales transactions, 4 accounts are recorded. So if ever it's a cash sales, it's going to be sales and bank. But if it's a credit sales, it's going to be debtors control and sales instead of bank. Instead of bank, you'll substitute that with debtors control. So that will be the difference between the two. And then sales will go hand in hand with our cost of sales, because whenever you sell something, your trading stock will decrease. That's where the cost of sales comes in place. And then you are going to get money. That's where you get your bank. So sales with bank, cost of sales with trading stock. That's why for every sales account, you always have got 4 transactions. Your sales is going to increase your money, and then the very same sales would mean that stock is being removed from your business. So with that, 4 accounts are affected. So in this case, it should be CRJ, not DJ, because we are already given a DJ. However, we don't work on speculations, we should work on facts, but the facts are very much lacking in this question paper. So if you wrote this, if I were to mark your paper, I would give you a mark for CRJ and DJ, irrespective what the marking guideline would say, because the information is not specific. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with H. We are going to continue to 3.1.10. Now in 3.1.10, ladies and gentlemen, it says give 3 possible reasons for item I. Now let us look. Where is I? Here is I. This is from General Journal. Now what could happen in General Journal that could decrease our stock? First of all, the owner can take stock for personal use, drawings, one. Stock can be donated. There's the second thing that can happen there. So donations, because it's not a cash or a credit transaction, so it's going to be recorded in the General Journal. And then lastly, correction of errors. Probably there was a wrong input in the journals of stock, and then it had to be corrected in the General Journal. That's going to be there. So those are the 3 reasons: drawings, donations, and correction of errors. Okay, we got that. Good. So let me just write that. Give me a sec. All right, so it could be drawings. Now let's write that S here. Sorry about that. So it could be drawings, donations, or correction of errors. Okay, so if ever there's an error and all that, these are the possible reasons for the transactions that would take place here. So we can write donations, we can write drawings, we can write journal debit, journal credits. Here if we write journal credits, we all know that these are corrections of errors. So this is an entry, this is an entry, this is a reason for an entry, which is journal credits. I hope we're good with that, ladies and gentlemen. Now let us continue to the next question. It says here, calculate the missing amount for J. Now when you look at J, here is J here. How will we calculate the missing amount for J? Very easy. What we do now, we do the inverse. Same thing that we did this side, but we do it this side. So we've got the balancing figure here, and then we're going to subtract everything backwards. Remember that in G, we calculated the amount. It was a young 1,900. Let's just double check that amount for G. Here it is. Oh, it's on the other page. So we'll just simply go back there. Remember G, we had to calculate it, and then we got the answer. The answer there, it was 1,650. So it comes here on G. That's not G, that's E. My apologies. Where did I put that G? Okay, let's just double check. Sorry for that. G is on this page. Yes, here is G. My apologies. Here it is. That's 21,600. So good, it's on the same page. Therefore, we will not miss the calculation. Right, so here we do the calculation. It says that we should do the calculation, and I said that we're going to do an inverse. So we're going to take the balancing figure and subtract everything else, and then what is left is going to be the balance for the month. So we're going to write that. Let me just write the calculations for you before we do the calculation, the actual calculation. We're going to say 102,000 less 900 less 22,800, 22,800, and then less 5,000, less 5,700, and then lastly less the 21,650. Let's just double check it. Told you we need to double check it. So 21,600 proper. So on G we calculated, the answer we got is 21,600. 21,600, and then we shall have our answer. And then let's get our answer. Calculator, come forth. Okay, summoning my calculator. Okay, calculator is here. So we say 102,000 minus 900 minus 22,500 minus 5,700 minus 21,600, and then we will have the balancing figure, ladies and gentlemen, of 51,000. Calculator got excited there for a moment. Okay, there we go. 51,300. So we write that amount, 51,300. This is the answer for J. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are done here for now. We are done here for now for 3.1. You can see 3.1, it's done. Now we go to 3.2, problem solving. Now problem solving with regards to what? To stock. So as I said, this is a lot of writing, so the videos will be paused and then you'll see the answer after we when I need to write it. I will not write as you view. Alright, so let's go to 3.1. Before we go to 3.1, let us look at the information which is related to 3.1. Okay, I mean 3.2, not 3.1. 3.1 we're done with. Now it says here that Thuli Mabuza owns 4 bakeries around Gauteng. They sell a variety of cake products to customers and retailers. The information below is extracted from 2 of her branches. She is concerned about targeted profits that were not achieved for more than 6 months. Alright, so what are we required to do? We're supposed to calculate. It says calculate the number of cakes sold at Diepkloof Square Bakery. Note, very important. Okay, and it says here 3.2.2 Diepkloof Square Bakery has a high number of cakes that are not collected. Suggest 2 strategies that can be implemented by the business to improve collection of cakes by customers. Refer to information A and B. So we're going to use information A and B specifically for this question. And then it says suggest 2 methods that can be used by the business to promote sales. And then refer to information A. Identify a problem at Naledi Mall Bakery and provide 2 solutions for the problem. Use figures to support the identified problems. So this is whereby we need to be logical and we need to think like an auditor. Right, so we need to think like an auditor, think outside the box, investigate the problem, find a solution, and then be able to assist the business. So let us get to it. Alright, so information A, here we have it. Information A is saying that we've got Diepkloof Square right here, Diepkloof Square, and we've got Naledi Bakeries. Target number of sales is 380. Total number of orders by the customers, this is 280 here, that's 290. And then we've got number of cakes sold, none here. And we've got number of cakes missing, none. Number of cakes on hand, not collected by customers, these are 8. And number of employees, we've got 3 bakers, 3 shopkeepers, 3 bakers, 3 shop assistants, not shopkeepers. So with this information A, we can find out what's going on with the figures. Now here it is calculate the number of cakes sold at Diepkloof. We need to find out how much was sold. How are we going to compare this? We need to find out their orders. How many were the orders? The orders were 280. This is the target, but the orders were 280. These are the orders. And then how many of these orders were not collected? It's 8. So we're simply going to say 280 minus 8. Then you'll find out how many cakes were actually sold. Alright, so we come back here and we say 280 of the orders minus 8 of the orders which were not collected. This is going to be 272. So easy, done. We go to the next one. Now we're done on this page. You go to the next page. Come now, let's go to the next page. All right, here's our next page. We are going to start up there, up top. Okay, Diepkloof Square has a high number of cakes that are not collected. Suggest 2 strategies. High number of cakes that are not collected. You can see that, right? Now suggest 2 strategies, right, that can be implemented by the business to improve collection of cakes. Refer to information A, which we have, and information B, which is this one. We'll just have a look at that before we conclude whatever it is that we want to conclude. Right, let's look at information B. It says that a deposit of 10% is paid before the order can be processed. The minimum price of birthday cakes is 500, and for wedding cakes is 1,800. Okay. Now, it says here, suggest 2 strategies. I'm already thinking of 2. Now, we'll just get to them as I process them for a minute. Alright, so, the first thing that we see, which is a problem here, it's this, the deposit. The deposit here, it's 10%, is a problem. So people, when a person pays 10% of whatever it is that they need to buy, they can just simply pull off, and then they would not even consider value into their money. So the deposit must increase, okay? But it must increase because by doing so, we are increasing the value of the cake that the person wants to order. So if ever this person decides to not take his cake, at least we would have covered the cost of baking the cake. So we also need to understand the profit markup of the business, which they did not give us. So in this regard, we will say the deposit must cover at least half the production cost of the cake. So in this case, for a birthday cake, we could say they could increase the deposit by 10%, and for a wedding cake, they could increase the deposit by 15%. So being logical about this, because wedding cakes are things that take a lot of time, and I mean, weddings, there are things that take a lot of time, and cakes that should be ordered in time, and sometimes the person the person who is actually doing the wedding can, sometimes meet up with issues. The wedding cannot go on, but the cake must be paid for. So if they paid a higher deposit of about 25%, they will be more than motivated to come and get it, whether or not the wedding is taking part. So yeah, so the first thing is that they increase their deposit, and then they should have a customer communication line whereby they communicate when orders are ready to collect. So they must communicate with their customers when orders are ready to collect. They shouldn't just wait on customers, even though they don't say much here that they don't have, or they have. They don't say much about it, so we're under speculation that they don't. So we are going to say that they should also make sure that they call their customers to collect. All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let us write the answers. All right, here it is. Increase the deposit fee by at least 10%. Call customers to remind them that cakes are ready for collection. So that is the reasons that could be given. Now here it says, suggest 2 methods that can be used by businesses to improve sales. So what methods can be used by the business to improve sales? It says suggest 2 methods to promote the business. Now we don't have any other thing here. This is whereby we think outside of the box. We do know that we can have advertising in its different forms, and then we can also create sampling platforms whereby these products are sampled for the customers to come and eat. And also again, we can provide cupcakes at events, so that those are part of samplings, so that our product can be recognized. Okay, that's only a few of the answers. Now, because you are still learners, when you write about your advertising, you'll say advertising, you can actually go all the way about to explain the types of advertising that you want to do, like advertise on social media, advertise on WhatsApp, or use WhatsApp as a platform. You can go all out, but I would say the 2 main methods. It said methods, so I'm not talking about only advertising. We'll talk about advertising and sampling of products. Okay, those are the kind of answers that I would have. You can see here, these are the answers that were given to you. We are almost done with this question. So these are the answers which were given to you, but I would not suggest only you stay here, because here it only speaks of advertisements. So you think outside of the box, because there are learners who will be thinking outside the box, and then they'll be saying that these are also some of the answers. So I'm showing this to you because we are almost done with them. Even in the other questions, everything was on point, so we did explain that these are fairly easy questions to tackle. So here on advertisements, you can explain more, and also again, sampling of the products, especially if it's cake. Okay, business studies people would know this, and economics people would know this too. But if you're doing your physical science to accounting, for actuarial science kind of students who want to register for that at varsity, yeah, just be basic. But this is why I have this platform, to assist people like you who don't have business studies and economics. All right, so let me just continue. All right, so I wrote the answers there, so we're going to go to 3.1. Let's read the information in 3.1. It says that Egoli Stores is owned, oh sorry, Egoli Stores is owned by Naledi Masenya. She sells clothes, handbags, and shoes. The store is next to a mall, or the Mall of East Goods. The Mall of East. Oh goodness, there's a full stop there. Okay, I'm just going to read that again. Egoli Stores is owned by Nelly Masenya. She sells clothes, handbags, and shoes. The store is next to the Mall of East. Goods are sold for cash on credit to the loyal customers who qualify to buy on credit. Goods are bought in Italy abroad. Nelly has been informed by her suppliers that a new branch will be opening in Witbank, Mpumalanga. Nelly will pay less for goods and transportation costs. She is not prepared to adjust the selling price of her goods. She feels that this is an opportunity to make more profit. Now the question says 3.1. What would you advise her? Provide 3 points. Okay, this is the end of the question, but I already have answers for that. We'll come back to that. I see that we left out 3.2.4, which is partially my mistake. Okay. Now it says here, refer to information A. Identify a problem that Nelly Mall Bakery, Naledi Mall Bakery, and identify a problem at Naledi Mall Bakery and provide a solution to the problem. Use the figures to support the problem identified. All right, please let's check the problem there at Naledi Mall. Do you see that they have got a problem here? So what is the problem, ladies and gentlemen? The problem, we have got a number of cakes missing. They say a problem. That is the problem. So what is the problem here? Cakes missing. We don't say theft. That's a big assumption. So we say cakes are missing. All right, that is the problem. 34 cakes are missing. That's the problem. All right. Now, what is the solution for this? If cakes are missing, what is this telling us? It's telling us that there's a managerial problem. It's telling us that the warehouse is not managed properly. So what's the solution that could be taken? First of all, we can have division of duties. As there are 3 shop assistants, we can have 1 shop assistant be the one responsible for moving the cakes to the storeroom. The other one will be responsible for counting the cakes, and then the other one will be responsible for selling the cakes. So by doing that, we are very sure. So from the 3 bakers, One shop assistant will verify how much cakes are there, and then the other one will be in a position to do what? To count, verify from the other shopkeepers, to count them as they go into the storeroom, that truly indeed we've got 290 cakes that got into the storeroom, and the other one will take them from the storeroom to the display for selling, which will verify that, okay, out of the 290, I took 10 at 10 o'clock, I took 20 at 15 at 3 o'clock, just like that. So by doing that, we will have full control of the problem. So remember, we identify a problem. We don't make assumptions of other things. We identify the problem. The problem here is that cakes are missing. That's the problem. We don't say theft. Okay? We don't say theft. They are missing. We know it's theft, but we don't say theft. So we can say the problem here is that 34 cakes are missing from the 290 cakes. So we're just going to write that first, and then we're going to write the solution. Just give me a minute for me to be able to write that. All right, so all that mouthful I said just comes down to this word, division of duties. Okay, so there'll be division of duties. So we see here the problem is that there are 34 cakes missing. That's the problem. Problem and figure, 34 cakes missing. Missing cakes, 34. We can write that. Or you can write 290. There is only 254 cakes sold, and then after that, from there, the 34 is missing, and then 2 was not collected. So let's just look at that and be proud of that. So we're done with that. So let's come here to the last question, the one that we read and we didn't finish on because we had to go back. Okay, what advice would you offer her? Provide 3 points. What advice would you offer her? 3 points. Okay, now the advice would be 1. Nelly, what she's thinking is very much, I can't really say wrong. We can say it's unethical. It's an unethical conduct, because now she wants to be greedy. Okay, now she'll be saving on her transportation, she'll be also saving on the products. So the products, when they come to South Africa now, they'll be a lot more cheaper, but she still want to keep them at that price. And another thing, there is going to be high competition. So if she decides to keep the prices high, she might actually lose out on the market. And after that, she'll lose customers, and then she might lose her credibility. So her business image will be affected. So let me just break it down into simple answers. First of all, unethical conduct, 1. Secondly, loss of customer base, 2. And thirdly, business reputation will be tarnished, or business reputation will be destroyed or lost. So those are the 3 points that are related to this scenario. Okay, so let me just write that down quickly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're done with that. So the answer is there. It is unethical conduct. There's loss of customer base, and there will be negative impact on the business. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is that. As you can see, this is the answers. It's going to have a negative impact on the customer base, and then it's also going to have a negative impact on the business. There'll be a loss of customer base, and this is an unethical conduct, ladies and gentlemen. So as we were going about, let me just show you, ladies and gentlemen, these are the solutions for the next question, which is question 4. You will see them here, but it's very important for you to understand where these calculations are coming from, especially in grade 10. So the solutions are here, and we'll be doing it personally. Remember that this is a marking guideline. It's a guideline, so some of the answers there might not be straightforward, so they need to be analyzed properly, and some of them might not be correct because people do make mistakes, just small mistakes. There are just those small mistakes that needs to be tweaked, so that can happen. So that's why we have this kind of platform whereby we analyze, relook, and redo as much as we can, because yeah, accounting is a process, and there's some specific things that need to be looked at thoroughly. As you can see, also myself, when I do the videos, I do have those moments whereby I do some mistakes, I have to go back, double check, tell you I made a mistake, go back, fix it, and then explain to you why I said this was a mistake on my part. So yeah, it's like that. It's not about perfection, but it's about doing the right thing the right way. Okay, so this is question 3. It is done. Question 4 will soon follow. I'm going to upload the video for question 4, and then that will be the end of the series of question papers for this year. Please stay tuned on my channel, as from the end of this year all the way to the beginning of next year. So by the end, I'm talking about the week of the 20th of December. There will be some videos being uploaded for preparations for grade 11, preparations for grade 10, preparations for grade 8, preparations for grade 9. Now these are the specific grades that I'll be targeting, and anybody who is interested in joining my Google class, which will be established by the end of next year, I will put a link for those people, and then actually I will put a link for a survey so that people who are interested can just put their details there, and then I will get back to them. I appreciate all the support that you guys have shown to me, and I would really appreciate it if next year we keep up this pace. I am still trying to get some educators with mathematics. I think I've procured 2 mathematics, also maths lit. Business studies will be there. I'm sure that business studies, because I also am going to do videos on business studies. So just know that on this platform we'll be mostly focusing on EMS, business studies, economics, and accounting. But for now, we're starting with accounting because accounting has been giving a lot of people flames. So yeah, I've been trying to help a lot of my students and a lot of people who are close to me via this platform that I have here. So this is just a help state, but if ever you join my Google class, it will be a far more than just help state. It will be a state of actually helping you to become better at your subjects in order for you to procure whatever it is that you want to procure in the future. Thank you very much for listening to this video, and I pray that you guys have the best exams and you study well. All right, before ending my video, I would just like to end by saying this quote: he who does not work, let him not eat. And finally, please note that laziness calls in a lot of sleep. So in accounting, you do not need to be lazy. You need to work hard to achieve it, and then work hard now in order for you to live easy tomorrow. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye and have a good day. Video will be posted soon for question number 4.